They're hidden in your smartphone. Power your electric car. Steer missiles with surgical precision. And yet, most people don't even know they exist. Rare earth elements, the silent fuel behind the modern world. 17 obscure metals with strange names like neodymium, terbium. They don't glitter like gold or shine like silver, but they're more valuable than both, because without them your screen doesn't light up, your camera doesn't focus, and your military doesn't fire. This isn't a sci-fi script, it's a geopolitical minefield, because nearly 90% of the world's rare earths are controlled by one country, China. In 2025, global dependence has reached a breaking point. What began as an industrial convenience is now a national security crisis. And nations are scrambling, not just for minerals but for survival. This is the chilling secret behind the rare earth empire, and the invisible war it's about to ignite. Rare earths sound like something exotic, locked deep beneath secret mountains. But they're probably inside your pocket right now. That smooth vibration when your phone buzzes? It's powered by neodymium magnets. The crisp image on your screen? Thank europium and terbium. Even the electric motor in your car, the camera lens in your drone, or the signal booster in your 5G tower all depend on rare earth elements. Despite the name, these metals aren't actually that rare. They exist across the planet. What makes them dangerous is how hard they are to separate and who controls the refining. You don't mine rare earths, you extract them from complex mineral mixes using toxic chemicals and heavy industry. The process is dirty, expensive, and politically explosive. So decades ago, the US and its allies stepped back, and China stepped in. By the 2000s, China wasn't just mining rare earths. It was refining, stockpiling, and dominating the entire global supply chain. And while the West was distracted by oil wars, China quietly cornered the minerals that would define the next generation of technology. Today, the world's clean energy future, solar panels, EV batteries, wind turbines, is built on these metals. So is its military future, satellites, lasers, advanced missiles. Every chip, every screen, every battery is chained to these 17 elements. And suddenly nations are realizing they gave up control of the most strategic materials of the 21st century for convenience. Now, with demand soaring and tensions rising, the world isn't just asking what rare earths are, it's asking how to survive without them, and whether it's already too late. While the world raced for oil in the Middle East, China was digging quietly in its own backyard and beyond. It wasn't flashy. No invasion, no sanctions, no summit headlines. Just contracts, refineries, and a ruthless long game. By offering cheap labor and lenient environmental laws, China became the global hub for rare earth processing. Mines in Africa, Australia, even the US would ship their raw material right to Chinese soil, because only China had the capacity and the will to refine it. By 2025, China controls over 85% of global rare earth processing. Not just extraction, the actual refinement where the real value lies. And it's not just about money. It's about leverage. Beijing doesn't need to invade nations. It can simply restrict shipments. And it has. In 2010, during a dispute with Japan, China slashed rare earth exports and sent shockwaves through global markets. Prices skyrocketed, governments panicked. And Beijing sent a message. We control what powers your world. Now, as tensions with the US rise again, that silent weapon is back in play. While Washington pushes semiconductor bans and trade barriers, China's response doesn't come with troops, it comes with quotas. A quiet tightening of the valve that fuels modern life. Even major defense contractors in the US, Lockheed Martin, Raytheon, depend on rare earths from Chinese refineries. It's not just a monopoly. It's a chokehold. And unlike oil, there's no OPEC to balance supply. No global strategy. Just China and the rest of the world scrambling to catch up. This isn't just about minerals. It's about control in a war that hasn't gone kinetic yet. Rare earths aren't just powering your phone. They're powering weapons, the kind that decide wars. Neodymium magnets guide smart bombs. Deuterium helps stabilize jet engines. It's from it. Lanthanum improves night vision. Samarium keeps missile guidance systems functional in extreme conditions. From the F-35 fighter jet to hypersonic missiles, satellite jammers, and directed energy weapons, rare earth elements are at the core of modern defense technology. Without them, even the most advanced military hardware becomes dumb metal. And China knows this. That's why, quietly, over the past 2 decades, Beijing has embedded itself into the military-industrial supply chains of nearly every major power, especially the United States. Ironically, the Pentagon depends on Chinese rare earths to build the very weapons it might someday use against Beijing. Even more alarming, many of these elements have no substitutes. You can't swap in copper or aluminum when building precision-guided systems. So what happens if China shuts the door? The answer is chilling. Defense programs stall, weapon deliveries slow, and a superpower finds itself vulnerable not from invasion but from import dependency. This is why rare earths are no longer just a trade issue, they're a national security threat. Countries are now rushing to secure new supplies, fund domestic processing, and stockpile what little they can. But China still holds the upper hand. Because in modern warfare, it's not just soldiers or missiles that win battles, it's who controls the materials behind the missiles. And right now, the West is armed, but dangerously exposed. The alarm bells have rung. Now the world is scrambling. The US, EU, Japan, and Australia are no longer ignoring the rare earth crisis. They are racing to break China's monopoly. Washington has poured billions into reviving domestic mining and refining projects. The Pentagon is fast-tracking contracts with companies in Texas and California. But there's a problem: speed. Rare earth facilities take years to build. China took decades to dominate, and it won't be dethroned overnight. Meanwhile, the European Union is pushing its Critical Raw Materials Act, building trade pacts with Africa and South America. Japan is investing in Vietnam. India is scouting deposits in its northeastern hills. Australia is ramping up exports. Alliances are forming, but so are fault lines. As China tightens rare earth exports, countries are retaliating with tech bans, chip sanctions, and strategic subsidies. What began as economic policy is spiraling into resource warfare. And it's not just about mining. It's about who processes, who stores, and who controls the routes. Even friendly nations are hedging their bets. South Korea, for example, partners with both the US and China, unwilling to pick a side. In response, China is using rare earths as a diplomatic tool, granting or withholding access depending on loyalty. This isn't Cold War II. It's something new, a resource war fought with contracts, tariffs, and tech, not bullets. But the stakes are just as high. Because if the rare earth flow stops, the global economy doesn't just slow down, it shuts down. And every government knows it. The writing is on the wall, and it's glowing red. In a world racing toward electric vehicles, artificial intelligence, advanced weaponry, and space dominance, rare earths are the backbone. But here's the truth: the world isn't ready for a supply shock. Imagine a sudden export ban. No magnets, no chips, no lasers. Entire supply chains would seize overnight, from Tesla to Lockheed Martin. It wouldn't just be an economic hiccup. It would be a technological blackout. And with global tensions rising, Taiwan, the South China Sea, economic sanctions, that shock could come with one decision from Beijing. So what are governments doing? Some are hoarding. The US has created rare earth stockpiles for emergencies. Japan has locked in multi-decade deals with alternate suppliers. Europe is funding urban mining, extracting rare earths from old electronics. India and Australia are coordinating extraction to refinement strategies. But even with all these moves, there's one reality no one can escape. Time. Building a self-sufficient rare earth supply chain takes a decade or more. But the next crisis could erupt tomorrow. In the meantime, prices will spike, black markets may emerge, and powerful nations will try to control what's left of the global supply. In the average citizen, they'll feel it where it hurts most, in their devices, cars, and bills. This is the new arms race, not for missiles but for minerals. And the next global conflict may not begin with a bang, but with a shortage. Because in the age of rare earths, the question isn't who has the most weapons, It's who controls what makes them work. The next war may not be fought over oil. It may not be fought with tanks or missiles. It may be fought over minerals, rare, silent, invisible, but absolutely essential. Rare earths aren't just elements. They are leverage. They are power. And the world's most advanced nations are waking up, late, to a dangerous truth. He who controls the rare earths controls the future. So as you hold your phone, ask yourself, what price was paid to make it work? And what crisis will it trigger when it stops? Because in this global race, supply is limited, tensions are rising, and time is running out. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment below. Do you think rare earths could trigger the next global conflict?